My daughter Annie turned 23 this week. And recently I had a conversation with her and I asked her a very kind of curious question about GTD. And I said, what part, if any part of GTD are you finding the most benefit now in your job? She's done with school. She's been in her job for, I don't know, like over a year and a half. And I was really curious more as her mom, since she's grown up with GTD more or less, what she was using, if anything. And she said, without missing a beat, the next action thinking. And what really struck me was that it wasn't about, I really like, to figure out what the next, step is or what the next thing that I have to do. She used the word thinking. And as we know, part of our work is defining it. It's the heavy lifting part of our job, which is taking that stuff and defining outcomes and next actions. And one of the things that she was sharing with me is she goes, when I get really stuck or when I feel like I'm procrastinating on something, I really have to just take a step back and think, wait a minute, I need either to come up with another next action or I need to come up with the next action because I haven't really spent time doing that to move whatever I need to do forward. Because so much of her job right now, the outcome is defined for her, but not the next action. So that kind of makes a lot of sense. And one of the things that I find when I am coaching people is when I'm looking at their next actions list, there's still a lot of stuff on that list that it really isn't clearly defined. And one of the things I think I do as a coach is I have to slow things down to be able to say, okay, wait a minute, sounds like you need to do a little bit more thinking on this, whether it's a project, whether it's a next action, something that they need to talk to somebody about, whatever that is. So I just kind of invite you today to just take a couple of minutes and maybe take a look at that next actions list and see if there's any stuff lurking in there that really could use some more thinking. Or is there that email that's been sitting in your inbox for a while that could just use some more thinking? Because I find that when you are clarifying and organizing, when the answer comes really clearly to you, you grab it or you do it and there's not an issue to it. But it's all that other heavy lifting thinking that requires you to slow down, bring your expertise to the table, and to do that, again, heavy lifting. So that's my invitation for you today, is to go find some of that stuff that you thought was clarified and go ahead and clarify it. And I think you'll just feel so much better, so much more in control, so much less overwhelmed just by even doing some of that heavy lifting next action thinking.